what are we doing today in the 2025 Toyota Tacoma? We are burning gas, baby. We are driving today. In the beginning, I had a snippet out the front of the truck, and I did that for a reason. Not just so you could enjoy the glorious color that I have, the Terra. I love this color. It's awesome. And it changes in the lighting. Sunshine, it's more orange. I think in cloudiness, it's more brown. Love it. It's awesome. But that's not why I really did the front shot. I did it so you could see the hood. So if you didn't pay attention to that, make sure you start the video over so you can see it. Why? Because it doesn't bounce around all over the place. I had that with the Sport that I had, and I'm going to go ahead and blame it on the hood scoop. The hood scoop, in essence, weakens the hood a little bit, or maybe it just adds more weight. I don't know what it does, or maybe Toyota fixed it. Maybe they listened to us and they actually put in a little more structure underneath the hood. I don't know. I'm going to have to take a look and see. But you can certainly tell the hood does not bounce around all over the place like it did in the previous truck that I had. I love that. Can you daily drive this truck? You know, that's one thing that I wanted to pay particular attention to while I'm out burning gas today. And let me tell you, it's a joy. This truck is a joy. You know, I thought the Sport was good, and it was. This one's just as good, except it's a little bit smoother on the road, I think. It's not as tight as what the Sport was, and that's indicative of the off-road. It's designed to be able to absorb the bumps and all that good stuff. It has a tuned suspension, according to Toyota, whatever that means. They tweaked it, whatever, I don't know. But anyway, you can definitely feel it. It's not as firm. You don't feel all of the bumps and nooks and crannies and things like you do in the Sport. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't expect that if you get the TRD off-road, which is what I'm in, it is a 4x4, by the way, that you're not going to feel anything, that it's going to be like driving around in a Lexus or a Cadillac or something. That's definitely not true. It is still a truck. We're going to see that here in just a second as I go over this big bump where I'm going to do a little bit of a turnaround. You can still feel it, but man, it is so much better than what I had before, I think. I don't know. Love driving around in the truck. Power-wise, you know, I'm always concerned when I go to a different vehicle from one that I really like. And I really like the Sport, right? But this one, again, just feels smoother. And my big concern is always that I'm going to go to something else and it's going to feel different, or it's not going to have the same performance as what I had before. I always think, wow, I got lucky. This truck was set up and tuned just right, and it happens to be the way that I like it. Well, not necessarily true, although I will point out there is a slight difference in takeoff in this truck as compared to the Sport. It seems to have just the slightest little bit of a lag to it when you take off. I never noticed that in the Sport. And at first I thought, well, maybe it's because of the setting I have it on. Maybe I had the Sport set on Sport all the time, but I didn't. It defaults back to normal or standard or whatever Toyota calls it. The other thing that I notice in this truck particularly, and I love this, I can hear the turbo whir a little bit more. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Let me be quiet, give it a little bit of gas. Can you guys hear that? I hope the video picks it up because it's pretty prominent for me. And I really noticed it on the drive home. I mentioned this before. On the drive home from the dealership, it was a really crappy, rainy, misty, rotten day. And I guess I was concentrating more on the sound and also trying to vary the speed. Because, you know, you're not supposed to drive at a set speed for very far on a brand new vehicle. You need to let everything seat and break in, right? I really noticed it there because on the freeway I was going up and down on the accelerator. I'd get up to 65, 70, 75. That's the speed limit. And then I'd kick it down and then I'd go back up, trying to vary the speeds a bit, right? And I really could hear that turbo whir out there. And I loved it. It's awesome. You know, I'm thinking about putting an intake on here because a lot of people have said that when they put a different cold air intake on, or as some of you haters out there like to say, a hot air intake, you get a little bit more sound out of it. So I'll be interested to hear that myself. And it even makes me wonder, the trail hunter has a snorkel on the side, right? And you get a lot of sound out of that thing. So much so that I've heard a lot of people complain about it. But I'm thinking you're going to get a lot more turbo sound out of that as well. So if you dig turbo noise, that might be the truck to go with if you want to pony up all that cash, right? On the inside, comfort-wise, in the back of my head, I'm kicking around, maybe taking this truck. I've mentioned this with other trucks, never have done it, on a long-distance trip. The only downside to that is I would be in the truck by myself. My wife flies. She doesn't like to go on long-distance trips, or can't go, whatever. She has a bad back. So I'm kicking around the idea of maybe doing that with this truck, and I'm thinking, after having it, this particular trim, obviously I had the Sport, that I could actually do that. That I could sit in this truck for, 5 hours, not straight, 2 days, so it'd be 12 plus hours a day, right? But I could actually do that, I think, in this truck without having physical problems. In other words, my rear end would hurt so bad I couldn't wait to get out of it, or my back. This truck does have lumbar support in it, so I can crank that up if I want to feel a little bit better, I guess. But I do think you can do something like that with this truck. And I've got to say, I never thought you could do that with the 3rd gen. It just wasn't as proportionately, if that makes sense, comfortable as this truck is. We've got the extra headroom here. It doesn't make me feel claustrophobic like I'm sitting in a can. Not that the 3rd gen was horrible. It wasn't. I love the 3rd gen. But it was tighter inside. It didn't feel as open. Not that this is cavernous like the Tundra. It's not. But it certainly does feel more open, and I think might just give you a little bit more comfort from that perspective, I guess, when you're driving. Power-wise, I have no doubt that it can handle that. It's quick, it's fast, it accelerates, so out there on the open road, if I need to get up to speed, or if I'm on an entrance ramp, or I need to go around somebody, whatever, no issues with that. It should be awesome. Anyway, just kind of wanted to get on here, let you guys know really what it's like as a daily driver. I have been using it for that lately. The poor Tesla has just been sitting in the garage charging because I've been driving this every day since I got it. I love the truck. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know. Do you use this as a daily driver yourself, or maybe you have something else? And what is it? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.